The Citizens Environmental Coalition in Houston has been connecting our community since 1971. Our community is conserving the prairie, improving water quality in the bay, finding affordable renewable energy sources, rehabilitating wildlife, and building environmental literacy in tomorrow's leaders. To learn more, go to cechhouston.org.
Hi, my name is Pat Greer, and I thank you for loving and caring for our community by virtually attending the Citizens Environmental Coalition Wild About Houston Film Festival. Houston continues to be an incredible place to live and create. Yayasrah and Pat Greer's Kitchen has been supplying Houston with completely plant-based snacks, meals, desserts, and kombucha for 20 plus years, with all the seasonal and local produce that we can get our hands on. We're located in an old house in the melodious Montrose, and we are here to serve and support the village it takes to produce nutritious and fun food. We are happily providing a tasting meal, dessert, and snack for you to enjoy during the viewing if you are interested. Many blessings to you and yours, and thank you so very much.
Hello everyone at the Wild About Houston Film Festival. I'm Sahar. I teach courses at the University of Houston in media production at the Jack J. Valenti School of Communication. So first off, I want to say congratulations to all my students at UH. It's so great to see the effort and hard work that you've put towards this festival and putting the program together, and I'm so excited to see so many of your work debut in this festival. So today, I'm going to talk about storytelling in short films. So I've been a judge and panelist for several short film festivals, and I want to discuss some of the things that we look for when judging and critiquing short films. And I hope this helps you as the audience in your voting process when you're having to put on the hat of the film critic. So one of the biggest things that we look for in short films is the overall storytelling. So what makes good storytelling? The number one thing that I should be able to watch a film and understand is, what is it? Meaning, what type of film is this? What's it really about? If I can't answer that question to myself, that says to me that there's an issue with storytelling. This is the big picture of your film. Is it a coming-of-age story, a ghost story about revenge or grieving? Is it an epic love story? And we do look at the title of the film. A great title can be that perfect cherry on top of your project. So now I've thought about what your movie is about. Then I look at who your movie is about. Who are the characters? What do they want? And this should connect to the what is it. They should make each other stronger. Then I hop back to the end of your film and I look at the character at the end. What has the character been through? Has the character changed? What's the character's personal arc here? So now, we've looked at the what. We've looked at the who. That leaves the why. Why the characters do what they do. Why are they behaving this way? Is it out of fear, a need for survival, to protect those they love? This leads us to talking about conflict. What's standing in the way of the characters achieving their goals? Is it themselves? Is it a bad guy? Is it some type of world threat? When we're able to answer these questions, these are signs that can be indicative of good storytelling in film. Then I start to analyze the film itself. And the number one thing I'm always looking for is harmony. So now I've watched the film, probably a couple of times at least, and now I know what it's about. Does everything match up? Does the style, the camera technique, the editing, the colors, the acting, the music, does it all add up, or does it seem like something doesn't quite work? And what is it we're wanting everything to add up to? They should add up to that big picture of what is this film? So, during the voting process, these are some of the questions you might want to ask yourself when trying to choose what films to vote for. So good luck to everyone, enjoy the process, and have a great time watching these films. Thank you very much.
Christmas Bay is one of the true jewels of the Texas coast. This beautiful small bay, along with associated Bastrop Bay and Drum Bay, forms the western end of the Galveston Bay estuary system. Its complex of marshes, seagrass, and open bay is located just 70 miles from downtown Houston, where it has long been a favorite with fishermen, birders, and those simply seeking the natural tranquility of the coast. Christmas Bay exhibits the rich biodiversity of an estuarine system where the mixing of fresh and salt water create a wide range of aquatic habitats. Its unspoiled character and natural beauty have made it a standout. Because of this, Christmas Bay was designated as the first Texas state coastal preserve, and it is recognized under the Gulf Ecological Management Site Program by the Gulf of Mexico Foundation and the U.S. EPA Gulf of Mexico Program. The designated coastal preserve includes the 4,173-acre bay and nearly 1,600 acres of pristine coastal marsh surrounding it. Christmas Bay hosts greater finfish diversity than any other portion of the Galveston Bay estuary system, and it has been designated by Texas Parks and Wildlife Department as a nursery area for aquatic life. Christmas Bay's diverse habitats, including the Arcadia Reef Rookery and Fallets Island Rookery, provide valuable nesting habitat for a wide variety of birds. Christmas Bay also contains over 250 acres of seagrass beds, the most significant remaining seagrass in the Galveston Bay estuary system. The Christmas Bay Foundation was founded in 1999 by people who love and appreciate this ecological treasure. The foundation was formed by fishermen, birders, kayakers, and nature enthusiasts to protect Christmas Bay and to encourage others to appreciate and enjoy this wonder of the Texas coast. The Christmas Bay Foundation is a small organization, but through collaboration with others, we have accomplished many things for the benefit of the Bay. With Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, Brazoria County Parks Department, the Gulf Coast Rescue Squad, and area Boy Scout troops, we continue sponsorship of the annual Abandoned Crab Trap Removal Project. This project removes hundreds of abandoned crab traps from Texas bays each year, saving thousands of fish and other wildlife from needless death. We have also joined with paddling anglers in canoes and kayaks to maintain the Christmas Bay Paddling Trail, a 19.1-mile journey through the bay, marshes, and bayous of the Christmas Bay Coastal Preserve. In 2017, when faced with severe environmental impacts from commercial oyster harvest in the shallow waters of Christmas Bay, the Christmas Bay Foundation and a coalition of other environmental organizations formed a partnership with commercial oyster interests and petitioned Texas Parks and Wildlife Commission to close Christmas Bay to commercial oyster harvest. The broad coalition, together with Christmas Bay's special status and resources, persuaded the commission to permanently close the bay to oystering. The Christmas Bay Foundation continues to work with individual Boy Scouts on Eagle Scout projects and rank advancement community service. These projects both protect the bay and allow the next generation of conservationists to know and appreciate the importance of this amazing resource. There is a lot to do in order to keep Christmas Bay pristine, accessible, and open to all those who wish to experience the beauty of the Texas coast. Among the projects the Christmas Bay Foundation is currently working on is the construction of an ADA-accessible bird viewing platform so that everyone can enjoy the amazing avian diversity of the bay and marshes. Also, together with the Trust for Public Lands at Texas Parks and Wildlife, the Foundation is working to acquire and protect private lands around the bay as permanent open space. We hope with the help of our partners to keep Christmas Bay wild, beautiful, and available for all to enjoy. Join us today in helping to keep Christmas Bay a true gem of the coast.
The Armand Bayou Nature Center is one of the largest urban wilderness preserves in the United States, with 2,500 acres of natural wetlands, forests, prairies, and marsh habitats, and over 5 miles of hiking trails. There are lots of unique life who have a home at the ABNC, including the golden silk orb weavers. Every summer at ABNC, golden silk orb weavers fill the forest. They may look spooky, but there's no need to worry. Golden silk orb weavers are gentle giants. They are very mild-tempered and non-aggressive. They only bite when handled roughly, but their venom is not dangerous to people. If you encounter a web on the trail, you can safely walk under it. The spiders won't jump out of the web. Their scientific name is Nephilia clavipes. The genus name, Nephilia, means fond of spinning. Their webs can be 3 to 5 feet across, and their silk is a beautiful golden color. This color may help to camouflage the web among the trees, or it may attract certain insects, like bees. These are some of the largest spiders in North America. The females can have a leg span of up to 6 inches, and the males are about 5 to 6 times smaller than the females. Spiders are vital for ecosystem balance. They eat disease-spreading insects like mosquitoes, flies, roaches, and more. They also protect crops from pests. The biomass of spiders in the world is 25 million tons, but they eat 400 to 800 million tons of biomass each year, mostly insects. This is about twice the combined weight of all the world's adult people. Our golden silk orb weavers are one of the most amazing animals you can see at ABNC. Visit us next summer to see them in person.
Why is going outside so good for you? So when you go outside, the sunlight hits your skin. So the sun sends down UV rays that hit our skin. And when it hits our skin, it helps to create vitamin D. So vitamin D is found in lots of foods that we eat, but it also is helped to be absorbed through our body with sunlight. So without actually having sunlight, you don't get vitamin D in your body. So vitamin D helps to produce calcium within our bodies so that we have super strong bones, so you can be strong like me. But it also helps with absorbing certain chemicals within inside our brains. So this is where we go deep science! So inside our brains, we have these things called neurons. A neuron kind of looks like a hand, and there's millions, trillions, probably billions of them inside of our brain, and they all talk to each other. Well, to talk to each other, they have to talk to each other right at the space where they're closest. It's called the synapse. So when they're talking to each other, they're not yelling, "Hey, Bob, how was the weekend?" "It was great, Shirley. Thanks for asking." They don't talk like that. They send chemicals back and forth and back and forth. Well, vitamin D is crucial for the absorption and sending of serotonin and dopamine. So those are our two chemicals in our body that make us really, really, really happy. So if you think about when you eat a really good plate of food, or you do some other things that make you feel really, really happy, maybe playing outside with your friends and laughing, all of those things that make you happy, it's because your body is sending those chemicals back and forth. So if you aren't going outside, you're not absorbing sunlight, you're not eating certain foods that have vitamin D, your body doesn't have those chemicals to send back and forth, which can lead to you being sad. No! When you go out into nature, make sure you're respecting it. Be like a ninja and leave no trace.
Hi everybody, I am Outdoor August, the outdoor recreation specialist with the City of Pearland. Now that Educatey has taught you all about why it's important to be outside, I'm going to walk you through some outdoor activities you guys can try on your own. Ready to go? You could go fishing. You could go birding. You could fly a kite. You can go kayaking, but always wear a life vest. You could go hiking. You could play catch with a friend. You could go camping in nature or your backyard.
You can go paddleboarding.
Galveston Bay is a vital natural resource we're all connected to. It's one of the planet's most productive ecosystems. It's an extraordinary resource for all types of things, ranging from seafood to tourism to shipping to commerce. It really is the entity that binds us all together in the Houston-Galveston region. Galveston Bay Foundation exists as a leading voice for Galveston Bay. We work to ensure it remains a healthy and productive place for generations to come. You'll find us working in schools and communities, both on the ground and on the water, in our 5 main program areas: education, habitat restoration, water protection, conservation, and advocacy. Galveston Bay Foundation's education programs are core to what we do, I think. It's about reaching kids around Galveston Bay, exposing them to Galveston Bay, and hopefully convincing them and showing them why it's important to preserve and protect.
For us, if we didn't have funding to do programs like this, we would continue to be teaching aquatic science out of a textbook and using PowerPoint slides, and there would never be that real connection. Since our partnership with Galveston Bay Foundation, I can tell you that this program has just come alive, and it has gone from coloring pictures of fish to actually a real connection and students wanting to care and making a difference.
We've worked this year with over 8,000 students from 140 different classrooms. About 73% of the kids are from low-income neighborhoods, low-income schools. Many times these kids might live a mile from Galveston Bay, but have never had access to the bay. But our programs really expose them to the water and to habitat restoration, and we have story after story about kids who literally come into the program and they're scared of the water, and by the end of the program, they're splashing around, playing with the critters in the water. It's really exciting to see the kids experience Galveston Bay.
They actually ask about the health of the bay, which I think is really special and unique for high school students. High school students are not always the most aware of the greater world around them. So the fact that that has become a part of just their life and they're aware of what's going on tells me that this is something that will go beyond their graduation.
The Galveston Bay Foundation's oyster shell recycling program is an effort to return shucked oyster shells from restaurants back into Galveston Bay to create new oyster habitat. During the spawning season, oysters are actually teeny tiny floating larvae and they need somewhere hard to attach. With oyster shells in place, they'll attach to those and start to grow into amazing habitat for all the critters, as well as delicious food for us. Galveston Bay Foundation comes into play with the restaurants. We provide them with recycling bins and instructions on how to recycle those shells. Our staff actually come weekly to collect those shells from the restaurants. They are quarantined for 6 months. We then work with volunteers and contractors to return those shells to the bay and create that habitat for baby oysters. And last but not least, they're essential to water quality. One adult oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water in a day. So you can imagine how much cleaner and clearer our bay would be if we had a multitude of oysters back in our water.
Galveston Bay Foundation has worked to conserve land and restore habitat really almost since our inception. So that means we've been working on these issues for almost 30 years at this point. We do wetland conservation, wetland restoration, oyster reef restoration, seagrass restoration. There's a lot of erosion across Galveston Bay, and we have protected over 17 miles of shoreline. In total, we have preserved, protected, and restored over 20,000 acres of habitat across Galveston Bay. It's a big, long-term effort. There's still a lot more to be done, but we've really tried to emphasize conserving the land so we don't necessarily have to restore it again in the future. We've accomplished a lot in our 30-plus years, being not necessarily just a watchdog, but kind of a conscience for the bay. You know, we talk about our mission of preserving and protecting and enhancing the bay. We want the next generation to be able to experience Galveston Bay, and in fact, we want to make it better for them. So that role that we play is critically important to the long-term health of Galveston Bay. And I think without the Galveston Bay Foundation, we would definitely see degradation in the health of Galveston Bay. It really takes effort and a voice to make that happen, and we appreciate everybody who understands that and who wants to be part of it, and we welcome you to be part of it, and we want you to help us continue to make Galveston Bay a great natural asset for all of Houston.
Ecorise is a nonprofit that works in K-12 schools teaching sustainability, design, and social entrepreneurship. And our mission is to mobilize the next generation of youth to design a sustainable future for all. There's a number of topics that are covered, including water, energy, transportation, food, public spaces, waste. But on top of that, the students are also learning about creative problem solving and design thinking methodologies, which gives them the tools to be able to solve local issues. We're teaching very specific sustainability topics like green building, biomimicry, and social entrepreneurship. The microgrants that we offer at Ecorise is what we deem as the Student Innovation Fund. And with these microgrants, we offer grants up to $500 per classroom. And when the students have identified a sustainability challenge in their community, maybe access to healthy food or ways to decrease energy consumption, we offer grants to the students so that they can implement those projects on their campus.
My project was the vegetable garden, and we were able to save all of those factors, and we used less water, less waste, because we composted through the cafeteria of all the waste that went back into the vegetable garden.
My project was the butterfly garden. We wanted to focus on being able to help pollinators have shelter and attract them, not only for us, but for like the butterfly garden, and to help them migrate.
In August 2020, 85 volunteers embarked on a one-day heat mapping campaign. Here's their story.
Hi, I'm Jaime Gonzalez from the Nature Conservancy in Texas. I'm the Houston Resilient Cities Director.
Hi, my name is Meredith Jennings, and I'm a postdoctoral research scientist at HARC.
Our role in the Houston Harris Heat Action Team is to work with wonderful groups at the city, county, and private research institutions to forward the work of combating urban heat by bringing attention to the issue, using science and policy, and also to employ interventions using nature to help cool the city and the county.
We supported the volunteer and media coordination for the day of the campaign. Leading up to the campaign, we worked with our partners to identify the 32 mapping areas that you saw on the map. We also worked with Kappa Strategies to ensure that the driving routes were safe and also captured points of interest in the community, such as parks, community centers, and schools.
The Nature Conservancy provided seed funding for the heat mapping project through a generous donation through Lowe's. We also helped to work up the website, which was the landing page for the effort, and also helped to coordinate volunteers. But really, this was a collaborative effort done by an amazing cohort of groups, and we certainly could not have done it without everyone involved.
Here we go! Once we get the data back from Kappa, we plan to overlay different variables that relate to urban heat to try and explain the results. We plan to look at the extent of the tree canopy in the different neighborhoods, what's the impact of land use or different types of development. Then we also want to bring our volunteers back and help them, or have them help us to ground truth the data based on what they saw and the different types of things that they currently feel.
The sunlight goes down our concrete. It does not bounce off. It gets absorbed and it's absorbed. It gets released at night. It's making Houston harder in the night.
I think that community scientists bring a lot to a project like this. Not only can they bring their own lived experience, which on its own helps inform the questions that we ask as scientists, but their energy and their sense of urgency really helps to drive some solutions to an important problem.
Crowdsourcing science is really, really important. Not only do community scientists get to go out and collect this data, but it will positively impact their own communities. So having community scientists work alongside professional scientists is kind of the best of both worlds. We get access to great computer models and scientific studies, but we also get the community to have some skin in the game to help us figure things out about where they live. And then as we come back to them with this data, we can start to create a conversation with them about what they'd like to see in their neighborhoods in terms of trees and other interventions that can help to combat heat. So very excited that we had so many community scientists from across the city and across the county helping us out with this effort.
This project, I think, is a really important one for our region because our climate is changing, and the actions that we take now can shape our future. Urban and extreme heat is something that we're already suffering from, and some communities are suffering more than others. The more that we can do to understand and engage different parts of our community to work together toward this issue, hopefully the sooner we can start to find solutions to make it easier to adapt or trying to relieve some of that suffering that comes every summer. So I hope that that the people that are engaged in this project are excited by the opportunity to work across multiple sectors with different types of people to try and address this really complex problem.
This heat mapping effort was really, really landmark in that we needed better heat maps to think about where to put interventions in the city to help cool an increasingly hot place. The recent climate assessment that was released by the City of Houston really indicates just how hot this city is and how much it's due to heat up in the future. So we would lead by science in terms of the Nature Conservancy, and we need to find a way of looking at that data and using maps of heat to pinpoint where we can do interventions using nature, policy, cooling centers, and other things so that we can make this a much better habitat for the humans and the indigenous species here.
Learn more about the project at heat.org.
The beauty of Buffalo Bayou is that it is a living river, more than 18,000 years old, shaded by trees and filled with wildlife, flowing in twists and turns for more than 50 miles through the center of Houston, the Bayou City. Some call it the Mother Bayou. It is the main stream of our natural drainage system, receiving water from numerous other bayous and creeks, cleansing that water, uniting a diverse community of people. Its beauty is sort of a secret. Most people never see it. Many people don't understand it. They try to control it. They cut down the trees, bulldoze the banks, line it with metal and concrete, as they've done to most of our bayous. This kills the river. It also increases flooding. Our nonprofit environmental advocacy organization was founded to preserve the beauty and natural benefits of Buffalo Bayou. We focused initially on one of the last forested, publicly accessible sections flowing past Memorial Park. But the struggle to protect this vital natural resource continues. Learn more about Buffalo Bayou, rivers, nature, and flooding on our website, savebuffalobayou.org.
Weren't those great? I just so enjoy seeing the work being done nearby and getting some reminders of why we do what we do. We're going to take a 5-minute break for intermission. So get up, stretch, pop some popcorn, refill your drink, let the dog out, and rejoin us in 5 minutes. You can also take this time to select your favorite film so far and see if we can top it in the second act. Remember, you only get one vote for a film tonight, so start narrowing down your choices now. See you in 5 minutes. Welcome back. Are you ready for another 25 minutes of local environmental films? Thanks again to all of the individuals and organizations who submitted for this festival. We will vote at the end of the show for the film that will be screened at the Wild and Scenic Film Festival. The link to vote will show up in the chat. And now, on with the second half. Enjoy!
Hi, I'm Rita, and I recycle right. Every week, I go around and I help the recycle truck clean up the city. Do you know what's recyclable in the city of Houston? The list of recyclable materials actually varies from city to city, and it's important to know what can and cannot be recycled, so Houston can recycle right. Do you know that trash bags and plastic shopping bags do not belong in the curbside bin? When disposing or collecting recyclable materials, be sure to empty them out of bags because they can damage the machines we use to recycle. A good rule of thumb is when in doubt, throw it out. So, what is recyclable? In the Houston area, the list of recyclable materials include cereal boxes and cardboard cartons, plastic containers with the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 can also be recycled. It's important to remember that plastic number 6 cannot be recycled. Cardboard boxes without grease, oil, food residue, or wax coating can be recycled as well, but that means be sure to throw those pizza boxes in the trash. Cardboard spiral cans like Pringles cans can be recycled, but have lids which must be thrown in the garbage. Paper towel and toilet paper tubes and cardboard drink trays are recyclable as well. Are you wondering what to do with other items that seem as if they are also recyclable? Some items are recyclable but cannot be put in your curbside bin for recycling. For example, items like zipper storage bags are not recyclable and should be thrown away. Items like aerosol cans, latex paints, light bulbs, and batteries which still contain chemicals need to be disposed of at the Environmental Service Center for safe disposal. CDs and DVDs are not recyclable and should be donated or given away when possible, and when in poor condition, thrown away in the garbage. Old computers can be taken by their manufacturer through a take-back program and shipped back to the company through no cost to you. Styrofoam should be placed in the garbage or delivered to a styrofoam recycling location, like the West Park Recycling Center or the Environmental Service Center located in South Houston. Personal protective gear such as masks and gloves are not recyclable and should be thrown away in the trash. If you want to find out more information about recycling, you can go to houstonbeautiful.org/recycleright or download the Recycle Coach app, available in both the Apple app and Google Play stores. Now you know how to recycle right too, and you can help keep Houston beautiful.
Importance of clean waterways for our communities, in the food industry, for me personally. I don't think there's anything more important than the base level of health, wellness, and safety of everyone on this planet. So it starts there, making sure that we have clean water to make sure that we're safe and that we can be healthy and strive for as long as we possibly can. The second important thing about clean waterways, especially when it comes to our industry, is we want clean food. Period. I think we've learned a lot of lessons over the years of oil spillages in the ocean, chemical spillage from different varieties of companies, and these are getting into our seafood products. And we might not feel any effects right away, but generation after generation, these things are gonna, I think, directly affect our makeup, our physical makeup. People are gonna get sicker. It's just a huge thing I think most people we can avoid. Just that's a basic necessity, period. And that'll go an absolutely long way. Day by day, as everyone looks at their different trials and struggles that they have to go through on a day-to-day basis, something as important as clean water should be available to all people. And outside of anything else, whether it be a single-parent home, whether it be any kind of violent situations that might be happening in the family, between friends, or in the neighborhood. We don't know what people should go through or struggle with on a day-to-day basis, but when it comes to all those infrastructures that are basic necessities for human beings to survive and strive in this country, I think we should start taking care of the basics right away. And then from there, I think it makes it a lot easier for people not have to worry about their next meal, or if they're gonna get ill from the water that they drink. Things are very important. I'm actually born and raised in Houston. I went to high school in Alief at Hastings. Yeah. Houston's one of the proudest cities in this state. And if you go to Alief, there's nobody prouder than them. I promise you that. I'd say generation after generation, there's been a lot of really great people that I know of and grew up with in Alief, and they're great advocates for building a better community, and they do it on a day-to-day basis, and it's amazing. Some of the friends that I grew up with, all the hardships that we went through in our neighborhoods, we overcame all of that, and we're all striving to do some really great things.
When did man's connection with one's home, one's resource, one's life force become so forgotten? The elements in nature that blend together so perfectly to create tiny miracles. The miracle of life and death, the vibrant colors of the seasons, harvesting and giving back to the land, replenishing the soil and the earth for another trip around the sun. The pursuit of truth in its purest form hides in the deepest corners of the earth, where the currents recollect and re-energize. We dive deep, side by side, to the core where all life is given. Put your hand in the flame, feel the light within, a universe inside you. Brighten the sky. Heal the earth with your gentle touch.
I think sustainability, if I need to put it in an agricultural sense or just just the general sense, is that we need to make sure that we leave this world, we keep the world that we live in a stable and prosperous setting without using all of our resources up such that we can't replace them.
Fluidity and flexibility. Those are our words, fluidity and flexibility. If it didn't grow, plant it again. If the birds ate it, okay, plant it again. Sustainability means be able to maintain the threshold, to maintain a threshold. The problem is it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good threshold, but can we sustain a living? Can we maintain a living? Is our environment, as we're using, is it sustainable? As we say, do we not take away so that our future generations can't use it? But can we almost hold it steady?
You know, not just farmers, but anybody can try to look at, any kind of emissions they have, whether it's their car or their dryer coming out of their house or whatever. That's things people have to internally, inspect around their own place. I mean, we've done it. We try to work through it, like making sure that we have, newer tractors with emission controls. And I think it's up to each and every one of us, to just examine our lives and where things that affect climate, the ozone type stuff, we just got to look internally and make sure that we're doing the best we can on that.
Currents and tides are unforgiving, relentless but beautiful. They do not favor anyone or anything, but abide by one law: no law. Harness the energy, ride with it, and stay above water. What are we sacrificing by neglecting the land, the air, the water, and the flames? Do we consider the consequences, or do we trust the process? Glide through where oblivion and infinity coexist, that everlasting chaos. A gateway into another sphere of existing and understanding the change in trend and possibility.
Sometimes you lose everything. I mean, really, what can one do when nature is just a natural thing? Yeah, it's a natural thing, so there was nothing we could do but to begin all over again.
Mother Nature wins all the time. She wins hands down every battle, every excursion, every face-to-face, Mother Nature wins.
We share the air, the space between us, light and breathable. Sweet mist and gentle drops from the branches above fall on my skin, refreshed and replenished. Fill me up with light and energy, the purest form. Hydrate the mind and sit in the sun like we do, so we can grow too. Flourishing with zest and organic flesh, I wish to wander about and get lost in the crevices of your horizon. Forever interlooped in this vortex of unknown substance which courses through our roots, we thrive, living off of the same desire for change. Something new, fresh, homegrown or homemade, from your core to theirs. You are resilient, flexible as you reach up above yourself, and as we revolve around once more, this time more aware of our influence and evolution. We move with the current, searching for our paradise in these Scion waters.
I think it's going to be hard over time to change the appetite of Americans.
It has to be fun, not a trend, but enjoyable, because there's a lot of work. I mean, you guys have been sitting there, we've been all hitting our meaning, but you have to do this.
Actually, I almost had my leg cut off in a rice cart, and but it was all good. We had a lot of fun.
That is an area I haven't really. Climate change, not really.
Hi, I'm Jessica Gia with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and today in my backyard, I'm going to show you how to make a simple moth setup. What is this going to look like? Here's a preview. On this porch, you can see the following. A white sheet hangs off a long red strap tied between two tall posts. The sheet is outstretched vertically. The top edge is secured by clothespins, while the two bottom corners are each clipped to a can of paint. The black light is hung from the top middle of the sheet by dangling it over the strap. It hangs vertically. It sits illuminating the outside, or rather, on the side where you think insects will be coming from. But you don't have to use these exact materials. You can get creative. Your goal is to make a flat, white, stable surface with an insect-attracting light shining on it. Here's a view of the same setup from the backside. You'll want to set everything up during daylight, and then about half an hour after sunset, turn on the light. After a few hours, insects start showing up. Now I call this a moth setup, but really we're interested in all insects. So here you'll see lots of little midges, some scarab beetles, and a mantid. The last step you'll need is patience. The first few nights you try, you might not get many bugs. And also know that the beginning of the night is usually really slow, and after about 10:30 or 11 p.m., more insects start showing up. Okay, let's go over what we need again. So first thing you'll need is a white sheet of some sort. Next you'll want a strap or a string or a rope. You want something to clip up your sheet with, like clothespins. Most importantly, you'll want a black light, like this long one. An extension cord. And lastly, you'll want something heavy that you can secure the bottom of your sheet with. Now, I use a can of paint with a clip, but you could also come up with another way to use rope and clip it at the bottom or tie the bottom down to the ground somehow. That just keeps your sheet from blowing in the wind. Thanks for watching. Hopefully soon you'll get to take a whole bunch of really cool bug photos like these. And in the meantime, follow us on facebook.com/AnawakNWR for more videos or to find an event near you. Thanks.
My name is Jerry Hamby.
Alrighty.
So we're actually standing on what used to be a golf course. Okay. In the 1960s, this was the Clear Lake City Golf Course. I always like to think this is where the astronauts golfed. So in the early days of NASA development, and the astronauts were actually living in Clear Lake, this is where they golfed. And the golf course hit rough times, and eventually it was closed. And people in the community were fearful that it was going to be purchased, or sold off rather, for development, for residential development, for business development. And so the community banded together to save this spot for nature.
I'm Brian Schruck. This is Exploration Green. I've been volunteering here since 2014. It was actually probably my first volunteer project once I finished college. So it means a lot to me. I've been part of it for a long time now, and now I even own a home nearby. Phase 2 is about to be ready for planting wetland plants. Phase 3 is being excavated, and then phase 4 and 5 are yet to be done, but they're coming up in the next couple of years. So I'm really excited just to see the entire project complete. I'm excited for more plantings, and I've really loved just seeing the amount of people this draws as well as wildlife that's coming back to our neighborhood.
This place has always been special to me. It's even more special now because of the lockdown we've all experienced. You know, finding a way to come outside and just enjoy nature is just an incredible gift, and it's a stress reliever. One of the things that means a lot to me, and as I look around, I can see people going by on bicycles. For the longest time, this was a park that just a few dozen people worked in. It wasn't developed. We were preparing it. We were putting trees in, but before the sidewalks came in, there wasn't much activity. Hundreds of people go through this park every day now. And almost every time I'm out here working, somebody will come by and thank the volunteers for the work we do. So there's a lot of satisfaction knowing that we're providing a good space for people to come out and enjoy with their families. But more than anything, this is a place that exists for its own rights. This is a natural habitat that has brought in thousands of living creatures that find this good material, you know, things to eat, a good water supply, places to raise their young. We have already identified more than 100 native birds in this park. We've identified thousands of insects, native plants, grasses, and of course the trees that we brought in. We planted over 40 species of native trees. So it's exciting in the middle of one of the largest, densest urban areas in the United States to see this suburban park, this oasis in the middle of urban sprawl.
These events that are, as far as the public is concerned, just beyond the pale. It's been lagging around the idea of accountability. And I came to the conclusion that the large-scale events that we've dealt with over the past few years are really incompatible with the mission of our agency, and they're incompatible in three separate ways. They're not protective of public health when we have a large event like this. Second, they're not protective of Texas natural resources. Finally, these events are not consistent with sustainable economic development.
Inspiration and education to people in Texas with unique coastal experiences in Galveston. So today we're at the Stewart Beach Pavilion on Galveston Island with the Bucket Brigade. We provide education and conservation on an annual basis to about 18,000 participants a year through 6 unique programs. We offer free tours every weekend with great eco-art educators like Kelsey here, and they take families and couples and individuals exploring our beaches here at Stewart Beach Pavilion at 53rd Street on the seawall and 13 Mile Road on the west end. So there's a tour able to fit everyone's schedule and where they might be staying on the island. So we hope you'll go to our website at www.artistboat.org. That's where you register for the Bucket Brigade tours, which are 45 minutes. And how many of you can say you ever spent 45 minutes with a marine biologist?
insect pellet from a wild owl is really amazing because it's like a Christmas present. You don't know what's on the inside, and it'll help you understand the impact that these birds can make in the environment. So our last bird, her name is Simon. She's a female great horned owl with a boy's name, and she's only 3 years old.
This menu for the owl was a bowl. Looks like he enjoyed it because I couldn't find a lot of the bones. Tons of hair though.
So these are all the bones I found in my owl pellet. I actually have 3 skulls. This skull has something poking through it.
Everybody's working on their landscape art. Everybody put up your art. Whoa.
So this is my plant. Their name is Plant. The pH is between 8 and 7. The stem height is around 20 centimeters. The salinity is around at 6. Probably needs a little bit more salt.
We found another bug, and it's shedding its skin apparently, or we think it is.